Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I ain't even introducing myself because I've got to literally shout out this man to my right, which is the one and only, the ghost.
The
Boxing
ghost.
Beats arrives.
Yes,
Yeah, because you're like a ghost,
indeed.
and
Yes,
it's just
indeed. Yes,
like,
indeed.
yeah, we needed to do this. So it's an absolute honor and pleasure to have you here, and I can actually see who you are.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
These days, you could be talking to AI behind a
Yeah,
photo.
that is true. That is true. And a lot of people don't actually think I exist. I do exist. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm a real person.
But it's really good to see you. Thanks for all the videos that you've been putting up recently. I don't
Yeah.
always get time to comment, but I do listen to them because you're the, like I said, I've always said it, you're the soothing voice that gets me through my run,
Oh yeah,
even though I
yeah.
haven't been running lately. You're the voice that I listen to because you're very impartial and you're not afraid to call people out on their BS.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You'll go at the media, you'll go
That's,
at the promoters,
yes, the fighters, even fighters I support. I mean, they'll all get the hair dry when needed.
and that is what we need. Um, I've spoken to a few people about you because I believe that you should be in a space where you can actually deliver the knowledge that you know because you're a historian. I've always put my hands up beats and said I don't study the history. I can't give the facts. I can't go back in time because I'm more
Yes,
interested in like the business side or the psychological side.
yeah.
But with you, you've got all of that historical knowledge. Where did that start? Before we get into what we're going to talk about, I want to get to know, how do you know so much?
Well, when you get to my age and like I'm 58, so I've been watching boxing since, let's say, 1984, from Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, and you just accumulate it. Like you buy the old videos, you buy the books, the magazines, and it just accumulates. It just accumulates. I was very good friends of a former British champion. I won't say his name, of his trainer. Now we used to smoke a lot of stuff together and talk boxing. So that that really like accelerated my passion for the game. You know what I mean?
But it
Hmm.
hasn't stopped though, because even like one of the things that I noticed that you do is you'll look at, say, the modern things that are going on in boxing, and you'll always have a comparison that sometimes goes back 50 years. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
there's so many similarities that obviously I wouldn't know. Some of us as casuals wouldn't know because we don't go that far back to see that the pattern just keeps
yeah.
on repeating itself.
Indeed, indeed. You know what that is like? Some people think I've got everything stored in my head, but I don't. I have to research a lot of stuff. And sometimes just doing a little research, you find so much stuff. So I do know a lot of history, yes, off the top, but there's so much out there. It's like a bottomless sea, basically. There's so much knowledge out there. And just keep digging for the knowledge. And I'm the same with that with my music. When I was young, I always knew the history of the music, like way before I was born, predating years back, because it's important for me to have some kind of connection that I can reenact how it's got from here to there. And like, for some people, it's not important, but I just have to be me. I have to be
But
me.
that's what we like, and that's, I noticed that with like some YouTube channels,
Yeah.
they're not getting the credit or they're not being pushed out as much as they should
Mhm.
be. I'd advise everybody to go to your channel, Boxing Beats and Rhymes on YouTube, if you want to understand the history and you want to see the commonalities between historic boxing and boxing of today. I've seen channels that have popped out of nowhere and they've got mad, crazy subscribers and like
Yeah.
thousands of comments. And I'm thinking, bro, or whatever it is, I know you're listening to certain channels and getting your info because I know that you don't know that.
That's what a lot of people are telling me, that yeah, they're listening to what you're saying and then they're regurgitating it.
Regurgitating it.
I guess it's a form of flattery in a way. You know what I mean? You could say.
It is, but today I'm going to give you your flowers. But I need your opinion, and sometimes beats I will
Yeah,
put my hands up. I can get a bit biased as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
so I
We all
always
do
need. Yeah, I think you're like the balance. There's a lot going on, with the Anthony Joshua fight, I've kind of, and Tyson Fury, I beg your pardon, I've kind of like put it to the back of my mind, not really taking much notice of it, thinking about the up and coming young bloods because of all of the politics and everything that's surrounding it.
Yeah.
But something the other day, I spoke to Frank Smith at the Dalton Smith presser
Yeah.
in Sheffield, I think it was, and I did a Q&A with Frank Smith, but because my internet went weird, I didn't get to ask all the questions. So
Okay.
I got the questions and I asked him them, and then the last question that was on there, I says, "Can you read it out?" And he did, and
Right.
it was about promoters not paying fighters. So I said, the person said, if promoters don't pay fighters, should they be banned from the sport or whatever? And he says, yeah, out the door immediately. If you've got,
Right.
and he almost did it like an ad. If you've not had a promoter that hasn't paid you, give me a call and I'll mention it in an interview. Except he was like, I was like, okay,
Right.
bit of banter, but being serious at the same time, because this
Right.
burner account obviously written it for a reason. So that goes.
Right.
And then I see this. Let me put this up, Beats. One sec.
But yes, we do expect payments to be met that are outstanding, not necessarily to Matchroom, but to Anthony Joshua. I want to comment too much more on that right now. But we want things to be done correctly, and
Go on, you carry on.
Well, just simple. We are being asked to change a contract we signed. Okay, we've done nothing wrong. We signed a contract to fight Anthony Joshua in the UK. We expect that to happen. And right now, I haven't heard from Seller or the Saudis for 3 or 4 days.
That's crazy, this situation, if that's accurate.
I haven't, because there's some sort of bits and bobs going on around the back.
Bits and bobs going on around the back.
It's
not
crazy.
Payments, not to Matchroom.
Yeah.
He's mentioned there that he's had to do an addendum because obviously there's the argument about it being in the UK or being in the US. Everyone wants it to be in the US except for obviously Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. So he's had to write this addendum, this amendment to the contract saying, well, we're going to need more money because it's different payment rules in the US than it is in the UK. We want certain media rights, all like different like amendments that you'd make to a contract. But then he mentions payment. And I thought, I'm hearing this too often now. What do you think?
I think British boxing is fighting back because if you listen to Anthony Joshua post-fight, he says that the contract states, like after he beat Prenger, that the fight will be at Wembley. And this is before all this hoorah that is supposed to be, well, not before, but Netflix agreed for the fight to be in the United Kingdom, not America. Everyone agreed. Tyson Fury agreed. Frank Warren said in Tyson Fury's contract that Zuffa are not to be involved. And now they're doing a bait and switch. And what they're trying to do is say AJ's a coward and Eddie's trying to pull a fast one. And they have to hold strong because what they're trying to do is hijack the market. I'm not going to say they're trying to take over British boxing, but they're trying to hijack the market share. And a lot of that is going to be them taking fighters, whether they're in contract or out of contract. They're going to get Denzel Bentley. They're going to get Hamza Shiraz. They're going to take all these guys over there. And Ben Shalom's got a few fighters, he says, have been taken out on a breach. He's a DAZN promoter. They owe AJ's purse. They need to they can't let Turkey just get away with everything. They've got to stop kissing his ass. They have to stop kissing Turkey's ass. They want Dalton Smith on there. They want Jarrell Miller on there. They want Bam on there. They basically saying, if you're going to take this away from the British fans, their time zone and the night out, you're going to have to pay down. And they're going to try and make it untenable for them to put it on in America because they have the cards. They have the ace cards. They have a contract where everyone has agreed the fight should be in the United Kingdom. Yeah. Frank Warren stated that in Tyson's contract that Zuffa cannot promote. And the only way Zuffa can promote is if it's in in America. They can't promote this card over here. What do they know about the British boxing scene? What boxers who are they going to put on there? Johnny Fisher? No one sees. They would rather see Bam. You know what I'm saying? So it's the fight back, and it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. You know?
What do you think about this then from DAZN? And shout out to you, man, are done for. It says good morning to October and Beats and Eddie. And I think Eddie's one of your regular subscribers, actually. So hopefully this is going out on your channel as well. Lol, it's the first time I've seen Beats. It won't be the last time.
Hopefully not.
It's not going to be the last time.
I'm only doing this for October, to be honest, because I don't want to mess up a video with a picture.
Oh, come on. Have a listen to this then. This was me speaking to Alfie Sharman at the Philip Hergovich, Moses Atalma, Swap It Round press conference. Have a listen to this.
And it's business. And I can assure you, we're looking after ourselves. But as I say, the proof's in the pudding. And I wouldn't be too comfortable saying that we're willing to collaborate and we're not going to put blockers in the way. Our priority is our business and meeting our objectives. We'll feel we can still meet those objectives easily without having that fight. So I think, but there's still a lot of work to be done there. We're all talking as if there's like a formal announcement, graphic and date and location. None of that's done. So this is essentially all conjecture, but we work in boxing, so that's what we do.
I get that. And that will lead me on to potentially my final question for you, Alfie.
Yep.
There's one person that's pulling all the strings. There's one person with a huge financial backing, which is Turki Al Sheikh and Sela. They've got a piece of DAZN pie. They're working with obviously Dana White and Zuffa.
Yeah.
And he's almost all over all of you. Doesn't that create conflict with you guys? Because it's almost, and forgive me for saying this, it's almost like you've all been infiltrated financially and now somebody's calling the shots for everything else.
Well,
how does that affect DAZN?
Well, again, it depends how you look at it. I mean, we look.
How does that affect DAZN? You can't really argue with your paymasters. Beats, if somebody's like giving you the money and they're putting like a nice percentage, how are you going to go against them? That's why when Ben Shalom was on about him, talking about his fighters getting snatched.
Yeah.
I've got to agree with what Simon Jordan said, which is a rarity.
Right.
Hold on a minute. You go in at Dana. It's not Dana. You lot all did your ceremony with Turkey, willing to take the money. So what did you think was going to happen?
That is true. And Simon Jordan said it years ago. Everyone was pre-warned. But it's coming to a stage now where they have to look to the future. So if we get in another situation where there's an equivalent fight of AJ and Fury and we can't stage it, then we're saying that we're not elite. We're not an elite platform to stage fights like that. And they have to dig their heels in here. And if it means forcing the market price what fighters are used to getting paid, they have to do that because they have to keep regenerating business over here. There's people that rely on British boxing to get paid, whether that's the security guards, the people at the ringside, the doctors, coaches. We need to keep the industry turning over here. And outsourcing all our stuff to Saudi, it's not viable. It's okay in the short term because, everyone's making money at a certain level. But our prospects, let's take AJ when he fought in Giza. They had like these Egyptian and these Saudi Arabian people in the prospects. Who are they? Where were the British fighters? This is an AJ card. Katie Taylor came up and down Anthony Joshua cards. The likes of O'Hara with Davis will tell you when he got his check on an Anthony Joshua card, Joshua increased his paycheck. And like we're losing out. We're losing out developing our prospects. Leo Watang should be on the Anthony Joshua undercard. Can't get there because they got some Egyptian, no disrespect. But I'd rather see Leo get promoted than some Egyptian kid or Saudi Arabian. That's just all me steer. I don't want to see no person from another country benefit from our boxing. And that's what they've done. They've headhunted our country because our country is successful at putting out promotions, and they're running off our energy, and they're going to suck it dry and then try and steal a lot of our market share. And then what do we do when we can't stage the big fights? When Frank wants to put on Caballero versus the winner out of Wardley, and that could be for 3 belts or an undisputed fight, Netflix and Zuffa might step in and say, hey, we can do it, we can give you more money and this and that. And then what? Our problem is we don't have a Netflix. And the fighters are always going to gravitate towards the money. That's our problem. So it's a battle right now. I don't know if it's a battle that we come out looking better. I don't know. I really don't. That's for Eddie and DAZN to figure out.
You know what? I think you've nailed it there, because it is like the cream of the crop fights are potentially going to get pulled and go somewhere else.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, I mean, everyone took the money though. And like I said, Beats, I've never been in a position where someone's just slapped $1 million or whatever it is and said, you know what, just do as you're told for a bit. So I can't say, as a fighter, like you said, it's the fighters that are seeing the money.
Yeah, right.
And you know, this is big dough.
Yeah.
How are you going to turn that down? But it's like nobody's. I'm going to give you a really controversial take. Now, when you plant a seed, right, that's gonna for a tree that's gonna bear fruit, you might not see it in your lifetime, but it's gonna have an effect later on. We know that certain things that have happened in the world have benefited from seeds that were planted hundreds of years ago, if you're gonna look at it like that. But I think greed for now, nobody looks and thinks, okay, what about generational? Because we all want it now. Fighters getting paid, going and buying gold chains and nice cars, but not investing in property, not thinking, all right, I'm going to go and invest in a boxing club because in 50 years' time, that's going to benefit boxing as a whole. Everyone's just like, you know, when we like, you know, that little something that was in, what was that film when he's always chasing that nut down and he wants it for himself and him there jump off the cliff for the nut, and what was it, Ice Age? It's like we've got that mentality. It's just all short term.
Yeah. Like the boxers, like you're saying, like instead of buying cars and gold, you need to get some health insurance, man, because you're not all going to get GoFundMes, man. Get health insurance and learn how to do your taxes. Learn how to use the HMRC website. A lot of them can't do that, and they get themselves in issues, you know. But yeah, with the greed, I can understand why they took the money. They had to take it, but now it's come to a point. Well, Turkey wants too much. He wants too much. You want to take away the fight from the UK, put it on this ungodly hour. Why? And they already agreed to host it in Britain anyway. So, you know, like they've got to dig their heels in. Dig your heels in, man. Don't let them bully you, man. That's the main thing, is not let them bully you.
I think with any contract, it's like we can build a contract that is put on terms that will get you to sign it.
Yeah.
And then once you sign it, and then they change the goalposts. Imagine if, you know, devil's advocate Eddie Hearn says, well, you know what, Lowick, we're not fighting in the US.
Yeah.
What do you think? Everyone's not going to blame Eddie Hearn. And then it's not going to be, oh, he was too greedy. He wanted all the money. He's ruined it. But where do you stand? So it's like, all right, okay, we'll put these amendments in and we'll do it in the US.
He's got, don't do it. No, I wouldn't do it right now. I wouldn't do it. Because Netflix, they did agree to put the fight in England, and listen, if Zuffa get that fight in America, they're just going to take it as a victory, a huge victory, right? Fighters all around the world are going to see, yo, we can just stage they can stage any fight there, and that's where they're going to go. We want the fighters to come to the UK, and Dana's not a boxing man. Dana left the Aaron McKenna fight when he was fighting for the IBF title. He left in about the 7th round. Where are you going? You're the main promoter. You're in Ireland. Where is it you had to go rather than watch the final stages of your guy trying to win the world title? He left the arena. You ask Dana who's on the undercard. They don't have a clue. TKO don't care about boxing. It's all about the bottom end, and that's fair enough. They're very successful at that. But that doesn't work for British boxing. That doesn't work for Brit. We don't have a Netflix. We don't have like the history that America does. But what we do works. British title fights work. Domestic dust-ups work. And if they're going to introduce the Zuffa belt and stuff over here, the British title could get further marginalized.
Yeah.
And then what will British boxing be? What will it be?
And to be fair, Ben Shalom did say that. He says, "What about what about the area titles? What about the the British, this, that, the Commonwealth?" He says, "What's going to happen to those titles if all we're concerned about is potentially the world titles or creating, obviously the Zuffa belt to be in line, which is additionally just another belt, isn't it?"
That's right. I mean, Zuffa have already got a British guy in there, like who does their business, and Ben Shalom called him a shill, and he is a bit of a shill. Because that's all he's going to promote over here is the American brand. And like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be a turbulent time right now. It's going to be very turbulent.
But the shift then, and this is where your historical comparison comes in, because when I was growing up, like America was the place for boxing. Because obviously you had the likes of Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and I'm the casual. Because those are the names, George Foreman, those are the names that I remember as a kid watching boxing with my mom. Right. Then the shift started. Can you educate a fool? Like, when did boxing start to then? Because boxing started in the UK, but when did it come back from America? When did it start to transition back? And it was like the UK was more in the eyes of the fans of the sport.
I think we have to go back, probably Carl Froch Groves, the rematch when they started doing the stadium fights. It would have to be said back then, and then Joshua came through. So we're looking about 2014, perhaps 2014.
So the US had a long reign then, a long reign.
Yeah. They fell off when they stopped producing heavyweight champions. Like they fell off when Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson fell off. And obviously you had Floyd. You can't forget Floyd. It didn't fall off. But if you're not producing, they haven't had someone fighting for a heavyweight title since Tyson Fury beat up Wilder. And if you haven't got nothing in the heavyweight division, it's hard to compete. It's hard to compete on the global market. You know, welterweights are great, but heavyweight, if you're not a heavyweight, man, like if you ain't got no heavyweights, that's why Eddie's trying to build up his heavyweight stable. He's trying to rebuild it, you know? And don't give the business back let them work. Let them work. If you want to stage big heavyweight fights, get your own heavyweights. Don't take our fight. Our fight was promised to be at Wembley. And we should hold to that. Yeah, we should hold to it. Be a bit patriotic. Tyson Fury's a sellout. He's a sellout.
He'll go where the money is. He says he doesn't. He said it on I think one of his Instagram videos. He doesn't care where he fights. He just wants to fight. He doesn't have like that patriotism to say this should be in the UK. Would he fight in the UK? Yeah, but he says he doesn't care. He'll fight anywhere. He's getting paid.
His contract stated it's in the UK, and then next thing he's with Trump. He's with Dana. Probably got his visa issue sorted out, and he's sold out. He's sold out. He's literally sold out. He can't say he hasn't because he has. You know, I think Frank Warren wants to be vocal, but because he's got ties to the guy, he can't say anything. I feel so. If you see Frank, he looks very withdrawn when this fight is being mentioned. He has to speak about it. Frank is very vocal. He's very withdrawn. You know, because he's not happy. They've took him out of the Tyson Fury business. He wasn't promoting Tyson when he fought Makhmudov. He's not involved. He's involved in some capacity, but it's a lessened capacity. And Frank, that's not for Frank. Frank's not used to that. Frank wants to be the top dog. So that's probably why he filed the lawsuit against Seller. He said, look, you've just disturbed everything. And now you want to push me out.
And I see that as well. And, you know, I've spoke to Frank and I think, shall I ask him? But then I think this is a really sensitive subject, and it could. I don't mind Frank tearing me a new arsehole because I don't mind that. But I'm thinking, is it something that he can actually speak on? Because we know that obviously he had legal letters
Yeah.
sent over that way. Then they, the Ring magazine on Twitter announced that, Wardley and Dubois wasn't selling, and they hadn't even started selling the tickets yet. So it's a right mess. So I thought,
Right.
I don't know. Let me see how it is. Because I know what Frank's like. I've been at a press conference, Moses Atauma, when he finished Jermaine Franklin, right?
Yeah.
And I said to Frank, what are you going to do now? Because the Wolves are going to be at the door for Moses. I know who the Wolves are. I'm talking about Zufar. I'm talking about, he knows what I'm on about. And he looked at me, he went, at what door? I can't get through. And he was going at me. And then as he was going at me, I'm smiling at him. And he looked at me like, when the next person answered the question, like to say, you cow. So like I said,
he didn't take well to that.
But he knew, he knows what, he smiled at me. It wasn't like, oh yeah, get her out of here or anything like that. But he's like, yeah. So I thought, if I ask him anything about this, how will he react? Frank is brilliant. I like speaking to him because he's old school.
He's a bit scary though, isn't he?
He's old school, and you have that respect. He's an elder, isn't he? So you kind of like, you have that like respect for him because he's a lot older than you. That's how I was brought up. Respect your elders.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I think he may want to say more than he can, but obviously it's a tangled mess.
Well, here's the thing, October. They've sold British boxing out. Eddie and Frank have sold it out. If you want the hard truth, they've sold it out, right? They were supposed to do the follow-up to the 5 versus 5. They said it was going to be 7 versus 7. It was supposed to be this year.
Yeah, it was.
And now it's come out. They're going to have to do it next year because Callum Smith is fighting Bivol. So I'm thinking, hold on, that's some bull crap.
Instead of Buatsi.
Yeah. All right, Callum is not a huge draw, right? How would Callum Smith's withdrawal or absence stop the 5 versus 5 going? This is some bull crap. Basically, you can't get the same level of fighter because you don't have the same level of investment from Turkey. You don't have them expensive film trailers to promote the fight. He's destabilized your market. You can't put that 5 versus 5 because you don't have the funds. Don't have the funds. You're gonna pay Rafe? Who was on there? I think AJ was on there. You had this guy. Yeah, he wasn't in the 5 versus 5, but I think didn't he fight on he did fight on it. You had Joseph Parker, Wilder.
Yeah, Wilder was on there. Who was Wilder? Who was Wilder Zhang? No,
it was Joseph Parker versus Wilder. Because remember, Wilder was fighting for Eddie Hearn, right? And Parker was Queensbury. I can't remember. It was Ray Ford versus Nick Ball.
Craig Richards versus Hutchinson.
Yes. See, that card is expensive to put on. They can't put a card on like that right now. It costs a bomb. They'd have to put it on pay-per-view. They don't want to put it on pay-per-view.
It would be pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, right now they're putting everything on pay-per-view. DAZN.
Yeah, DAZN. Yeah, and I heard that the prices are creeping up in America as well.
They've destabilized the market. The fighters are used to getting a certain level. It's destabilized. So now they're putting everything on pay-per-view.
So, and this is hypothetically
without Turkey's finances, there was no choice.
So when you think about this, like hypothetically, Beats, and this is a hypothesis based on everything that you're saying, thinking that obviously the market is potentially being destabilized. They'll get more money for potentially having a 1-fight deal or a 2-fight deal with Zufar. They're on Paramount. They're on Sky Sports in the UK. They're going to get more money. DAZN are continuing to potentially increase the subscriptions. Where does that then leave? If you're looking at a 2-year forecast, isn't that potentially dangerous for British boxing on a whole?
A 2-year forecast of what? DAZN struggling, you mean? Or
yeah, just like moving forward, if you look on it like a 2 or a 3-year projection, is that potentially going to cause? Yeah, is that going to potentially cause like a lot of fighters then, or the not saying the collapse of British boxing, but if the fighters are going to move over because they want that money, they want more money, what's that going to do to British boxing on a whole?
Well, look, Zuffa can only promote a certain amount of fighters, right? They can't, like, you know what I mean? They can't accommodate like the whole world. So the market, they're still going to have fighters there. But what it's when we get to AJ and Fury level,
Yeah,
that's the big problem. The
yeah,
big fights, Zuffa and Netflix want to step in and take the market from the UK. And that's what they really got to look out for. Events like 5 versus 5, they're having
yeah,
to, like, you know, chop up figures and figure out how they're going to work that. And it's difficult. It's not, they're finding it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So where we go from here, I don't know. I really don't know. I'd like to see Fury and AJ fight in the United Kingdom, because like if they're really thinking about the future of British boxing, that's where it needs to be. They need to like show Turkey that no, you can't just get your way. You can't push and shove and get everything. They need to show him that. But are they prepared to do it? Eddie's talking tough now, but in 6 months, when he can't put on the events he wants to put on, when the fighters are looking at Zuffa as an alternative to put on these big events, then what are they going to do? Then I tell you what, there's some tough times coming up for the zone. A lot of people are not going to go back for that bundle. A lot of people don't think it's worth it. There's some tough times coming up. Tough times.
yeah, especially with the price increase. Let me just go to the chat and shout out people in the chat. Right, you man of Dom4 said this is a breach of contract. Eddie should just sue them, get compensation and negotiations, and can start afresh if they want the fight in America. I think Franklin Saint agrees with that. Two real ones, that's LSD Box. Good morning to you. I've seen your tweets. I put out a tweet with Frank Smith from the interview, and LSD Box has been going mental on it. Fair play to him. Emma Wills, good morning to you, beautiful. I hope you're okay. She replies with Fury the traitor. So that's that part of that as well. Eddie said it feels like this whole episode is a play in a bigger strategy from Zuffa and Netflix. They try to use it as a Trojan horse.
Right.
Interesting. Frank said Usyk didn't name Fury Greedy Belly for nothing, and he laughs.
Right.
Ra says, good morning. Beats the grand face reveal. Yes, indeed it is.
What's up,
beware of the... Eddie goes on to say, beware of the Greeks bearing gifts. My mum used to say to that. Yes. My mum always used to say to that, be careful. She used to say, be careful of people that are always giving you something. They're going to want something in return. So spot on, Eddie. And rest in peace, Mum. Ra says, I think we've all had a good telling off from Uncle Frank. I do like being told off by Uncle Frank. He makes me feel like a child again. Sorry. You-Man of Dunfor said, America's best athletes opt for other sports. You are right. In basketball, you get $5 million guaranteed out of the draft. It's easier money than boxing. And boxing is like a really low-level sport in the US as well. I think I spoke to Blue Blood Sports, and he said boxing's like at the bottom of the barrel in America. So he said a lot of failed athletes will start boxing. Right. Interesting that.
That's very
yeah. Eddie said American professional sport is tiny though, and I think that's an answer to you, man. Are done for. Iffy said good morning, and Raw, I assume Beats was bold like Hatman lol. Random comments. Shout out to Iffy. Iffy always bets on the opposition and he always bets on the upsets. But gamble aware, everybody, but usually ends up winning some money. So shout out to Iffy. Black Hawkage 93. He goes, no, you're getting it wrong, Beats. Parker versus Wilder was on the Day of Reckoning card with AJ versus Wallin headlining. We stand corrected on that one.
Yeah. You are right. You're actually right. So who's in the 5 versus 5? Because it wasn't Eddie
I'm sure Hrgovic was on there. I'm convinced Hrgovic was on there because I remember Eddie. I don't know. I'm going to have a look. So Ra goes on to say, Beats certainly looks much younger than his uncle status. I think this is literally the big Beats reveals. Right. Franklin says, I wonder if Zuffa will ultimately resemble Live Golf, with the Saudi pulling out their money, as overpaying for fighters can't be sustained. 15 mil for one fight can't run. And I'm more inclined to agree with that. It's about sustainability. There's only so much you can give before you really need to start having something come back. And I will use Johnny Fisher as an example. He will create revenue because he's got a massive following. When you look at fighters and their strategies, how many people are coming out to watch the other fighters? I've heard horrific stories about fighters not selling tickets. So the promoters and the broadcasters are putting in so much money into the fighters, but they're not bringing any revenue. So that's why fighters are quick to be let go. As brutal as it sounds, it's a business. It's not a charity. Ra says DAZN suck. Okay, that's Ra, not me. I'm just reading the comments.
Not only back, right?
Listen, imagine October Red. We've seen that you've made some comments online because they all watch what you do. Right, dreadful stream, and they constantly engage in bait and switch tactics. Elaborate on that, Ra. Dreadful stream, and they constantly engage in bait and switch tactics. What do you think he means? And he's on about DAZN.
They're leading you on to one. Like they'll tell you that, like for instance, when they started, it was £1 or so a month.
Yeah,
and then
happy days.
Yeah.
It's like the overpaying for the fighters. Imagine you just, someone slaps you 5 mil, says beats, do 10 episodes or 5 episodes, a Miller episodes, and you're like, yeah. So you're already thinking, if they like me and I get another 5 episodes, it's going to be that. And then they turn around and say, we're going to give you 10 grand. Are you mad?
That's right.
Are you mad?
And that's what we're in the process of now. The market just like being pushed up so hard, like high, but without Turkey finances, they can't maintain it. It's got to crash. It's got to crash for a few years.
Like the 2009 house price crash. Do you remember that? When they overpriced everything and then the whole market just crashed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sure do.
Eddie said sorry.
It was Wilder versus Zhang.
Yes. Oh, it was Wilder versus Zhang.
Versus Richardson. Dubois versus Hergovich.
Hergovich was on it.
Yeah, he was Matchroom at the time.
Eddie fighter. Yes.
Yes, yeah. And then you had Austin versus Hamza and Ray Ford versus Nick Ball. You know what I mean?
There you go then.
But, yeah. They can't replicate that without Turkey's money.
Yeah, that was a fantastic card.
The wage bill the purse bill is just too high. It's too high.
So then you bend, don't you? Because you want that again.
Well,
you're going to bend, aren't you?
They should just be honest to say, all right, we're going to put it on, but we're going to put it on like so. Don't put Zhang and thing. Get another fight, Matchroom versus Queensbury, but a more like Sam Noakes. What is he? 135 against Vicioli or something like that. Just do it that way. Just do it honest to say, look, we're not trying to replicate. We don't have that money. I think if they're honest with the fans, then at least they'll know where they are. They'll be able to maintain that at a certain level, and it'll be honest. And that's what they need to be. Listen, don't try and replicate what you did with Turkey, or you're just going to flush the business down the toilet and overpay the fighters.
That's hard, though, isn't it? That's hard. That's what I'm saying, Beats. When you're used to that money, you're used to all of that lavish, and it's like, I've got to go back to. It's like you buy a house out the zones and then you can't pay your mortgage and you got to go back to the zones again. That's depressing, man.
Yeah,
I'd probably bend. I'm just being honest. I'd probably bend.
No,
like, oh, man,
don't bend. I'll tell you why they can't bend, right? Because Zuffa are not going to keep paying Johnny Fisher whatever they're paying for their next fighter or Conor Ben. That's going to stop. That is going to stop. Once they remember when DAZN came in, they were paying fighters a ridiculous amount of money.
And they've said that. They said they were overpaying as well. They did.
It will stop. You just got to see it out. You got to see it out.
And may the toughest man win.
Yeah. And just keep British boxing as what it is. Don't try and make it like, don't try and overpay and overproduce it. Just keep it as it is. When Eddie started, he was doing prize fighter tournaments. Just get like, you don't need to try and replicate what Zoo. No, don't do that. Turkey don't even know what he's doing.
You don't think?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't know what he's doing.
As in what way? As in what way?
Look, if Turkey could have got into football or golf, that's where he'd be. Boxing is just the next thing because it's there. Yeah?
It's a free for all as well.
Yeah. Turkey is not a boxing enthusiast. He's not. Whether old school, modern day, he's not. You put Turkey in a proper boxing conversation, he'd be lost in seconds. And so would Dana. You start ask Turkey, what weights has Inoue won titles at? He'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't know none of it. He wouldn't know. He wouldn't have a clue. This is just the next thing after the sports they couldn't conquer, boxing. And it was an easy target because of how disorganized it is.
Yeah.
It was an easy target. You know?
Yeah. I think it is a bit of a free for all. Let me go back to the comments. It will take 5 years to find out, and Liv does have the Paramount deal to fall back on. Liv Golf, doesn't have the Paramount deal to fall back on like Zuffa has. Ra says, no wonder Netflix are going in for the kill on DAZN. The consents, these guys don't know what they're doing. I'm just going to try and be polite as I can. That's from Ra. Eddie says DAZN cost is a big issue. And if he goes on to say Saudi are definitely in the red, these delayed payments are suspect, allegedly, iffy. I'm going to be cleaning toilets by the time I finish this live, but whatever. Ra says exactly that beats what they claim in the package turns out not to be. And Emma goes on to say sellers' money is drying up. Is it drying up, or they're just trying to recoup some of it? Because, like I said, the investment is the investment giving them a return. Emma says, I think the 7v7 was going to be a domestic, to be fair. We'll see. Ra, ever since we started
it can't be a domestic, Emma. After you put on, if you're putting on Nick Bull versus Ray Ford, you've got Hamza Shearers versus Austin Williams, right? You need to replicate that. If you're not replicating that, then you've got to revise how to do it. Because who's going to watch it? They're going to be, well, this isn't as good as a lot. See, the thing is, right, with mainstream entertainment now, if you don't produce something as good as the last one, the fans are going to be, what am I paying for this for?
Exactly.
What am I paying the subscription for? You know what I mean? What you've got Southern area, Matchroom versus Queensbury, they're not interested. They're not interested. They want the international matches. They want whatever fights they can get with a sanctioning belt, like Nick Bull versus Ray Ford was for the WBA, I believe, featherweight title. That's what they want. They want Wilder versus Zhang, 2 big punches, but 2 big heavyweight punches cost money.
And I think another issue here, Beats, I can't see you anymore.
Yeah, I was just getting some water.
Okay. Another big thing that I think is part of this as well is the different networks involved in broadcasting the boxing as well. I think that creates an issue, because if you think about it, if there was, say, one network that was broadcasting all of the boxing fights, centralized, monopolized, however you want to look at it, I think the arguments would be less. I think the more the more broadcasting companies that we get in, I think it creates more of a problem, because now we've got Paramount, TNT are jumping on the back of some of Eddie Hearn's shows. He's obviously got a network in Australia as well. We've got DAZN, Sky Sports are now in there with Most Valuable Promotions, and obviously Zuffa Boxing. Obviously you've got Eddie, you've got Ben Shalom with BBC now and again. There's just so many different broadcasters. I think that also creates a problem. I think it's all right when you've got lots of promoters. I don't see a real big issue with that as long as they work together. But they were forced to work together under the umbrella of DAZN. But now it's gone. It's spreading out wide, isn't it? I don't know. What do you think?
The market's getting stretched. It's getting stretched.
Yeah.
It's getting stretched. And it's just a matter of just reconsolidating your assets right now. Don't overspend. See out the tough times. I reckon. Look, if Turkey wants to stay in boxing, I think soon, if he waits, if the UK waits it out, he'll be kissing Frank and Eddie's ass soon, man, because he's going to find out that Dana has no passion for the sport, and he's not liked. He's not. This ain't UFC. This is boxing. This is boxing. Like, if he can't deliver Shakur Stevenson the undisputed fights, and he's fighting some no names for some Zupa belt or no belt, he's just going to become more unpopular than what he is. I mean, Richardson Hitchens and Edgar Belanga's last card. Richardson Hitchens went from being a 140-pound IBF champion to fighting some obscure welterweight. And when he was calling people out after, nobody listened. Nobody listened. It's not sustainable. Richardson might have got a nice bag, but his career is going nowhere. They don't know how to promote fighters out there. Eddie done a great job for Richardson Hitchens.
Yeah, he did, because that's how I know who he is.
There you go. Done a great job. And Turkey is going to realize. He's going to realize that, hey, Frank and Eddie is good. Frank been doing this since 1980 at the Grosvenor Hotel. Eddie's been has inherited it from his dad, who's been there from the 80s. They're going to realize that this is where the real passion for the sport is. Listen, don't feed into Turkey's ego or any of their egos. Consolidate your assets, hold your ground, hold your feet. You know what I mean? I'll support them. I'll because I have to look out, because I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, wow. It was just recently I realized we're really just going to be putting our flipping
stars
into the hands of some people who don't care about it.
But then, Beats, isn't that like the split where it's like, is it money or is it legacy? I spoke to Joshua Buatsi, and he said that he went to a former world champion or a former world champion's house or a belt holder's house, and Buatsi said he was in awe of the belt. He's like, oh my God, you got that belt. And he goes, yeah, but now I've got to get up and go out to work on Monday. He goes, get the bag. And I think a lot of the fighters' mindsets have switched to, like, you know, the legacy, all of that stuff, to like, you know what, let me just get paid and get out. So all of this working your way up through the belts, through the ranking system, it's like, if I can make $1 million, 2 million, 5 million, why not? Why should I give it? Why should I care? You've got people like brain dead with like CTE, people dying in the ring, no health insurance, you know, as part of the purses, etc., etc. So people are like, no, let me just make as much money as I can and get out. That's me playing devil's advocate. What are the fighters supposed to do? Oh, loyalty, and I want the British, I want the Commonwealth, and I want this. But I'm prepared to take less money. Or do I have one fight, make all that money in one go, and then if I'm messed up, I'm all right because I'm patterned, because I've got the money? What do you do? Look, and this is what I'm saying. I'm stuck between, like, what do you do? Legacy is beautiful. Honor, respect, and loyalty is beautiful. But can you buy a house with beautiful?
No.
Can you set up your family generations with beautiful?
You can't.
With loyalty, with honor? I'm a skeptic, because I was all about loyalty. So I realized loyalty don't mean shit. Excuse my French. Because people will tread over you to get where they need to go. Well, loyalty, what's that?
In the grand scheme of things, the fight, if you're in an opportunity to improve your financial situation, you have to take it. There's no mistake about that. But at the same time, it's a small percent of fighters who go to Zuffa and get huge money, right?
Yeah.
So let's not pretend that it's just like the
it's
yellow
everyone.
Road. It's not. Yeah. It really isn't. And the other day, Vodzik got beaten up by and they just cut him. And he was winning the fight. And they just threw him out one fight.
I didn't watch it.
He was winning the fight when he got caught. And it was them who said, we're not invested in fighters necessarily have unbeaten records and being built up. And then my guy loses and you cut him straight away. You cut him.
Then what do? Do you go back with your cap in hand to the other promoter saying, oh, sorry, I left you. Can you take me back? So it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, because the sport's not structured. So the boxers is just like wanderers going from one promoter to the next to one situation to the next because there's no structure to the sport. That's just what it is, you know. Like,
here we go. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Even with the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury contract situation, there was no universal contract. How were Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, how are their contracts not aligning where the date or the location of the fight should be? That's just like terrible.
Yeah, the communications, there's clear, like I said, I believe it's fractured, very, very fractured. And it's getting to the point where there seems to be like some internal turmoil that is starting to seep out into the public. Because really, we should know about these beats. You can vouch for this. Back in the 1950s and 1960s, we wouldn't have known all of this internal stuff about boxing. We don't know all the politics that it got to for Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali to get the fights. It would have been there, but we weren't privy to it. But with the social media, because of the access, we get to see what's in people's toilets, what they eat for breakfast. We know everything, and knowing everything or knowing too much is never good, because then these people can't say that they're not looking at social media and getting influenced by what they're seeing from people that have got nothing to do with the sport, like as in investors, financial backers, business people. We're fans, but we're so intrusive. I can say that as an intrusive fan, but it's like there's no decorum, there's no professionalism. Do you think we hear all of this politics in Formula One? When Lewis Hamilton left Mercedes and then decided to go to Ferrari. Did we hear about that? It was okay. You just saw the big announcement, and there it was. It was locked down. You're outside the house. You're not knowing what's going on in here.
It's one of the biggest drawbacks in the sport is
the transparency.
People like Rick Glazer. Rick Glazer is a piece of crap. He's a big piece of crap. And like, he's just stirring, like you see with the Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, he's just stirring it up. Oh, Eddie's a liar and this and that. No, he's not a liar. The contract for the fight agreed between Netflix, AJ, and Fury is to be in the UK. That's the bottom line. Yeah. They have an obligation to put the fight on in the United Kingdom. I've got video with Anthony Joshua saying it in the post-fight after Prenga, that it was easy to make the fight. And Tyson Fury has sold out. He's 100% sold out. And the media are rotten, man. Like Rick Glazer was once said that Tyson Fury was innocent with the PED situation because BoxRec didn't report it or something. I said, what are you talking about? And that's why he banned me, because I kept contradicting his points. He blocked me from his page. It's an idiot. And there's lots. See, the thing is, there's a lot of media who will say anything if they're getting if they're getting a little something, they'll say anything. That's the problem with boxing.
And you know, like I said, going a little bit outside of the box. When media starts to run with stuff, they'll just run like wildfire. We saw it the other day with the professor that unfortunately, committed suicide. Once the media get hold of something, they will literally they'll just like run with it. It's like a snowball effect. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why you've just got to be careful what you digest. Really check your sources. Do your own investigation. Most things are out there, rather than just taking somebody's word for it. You know, just a little bit of common sense beats. Oh,
and
go on.
You look at the Ring magazine.
Yep.
Turkey's promoting all these big fights and these big cards, and he owns the Ring magazine. I mean,
conflict of interest.
It wouldn't be covered under the Muhammad Ali Act, but it's a conflict of interest. Remember what did they say about Frank Warren, that he had financial issues, and they were slandering Frank? And you're thinking like,
that was. I was like, what? There was on about the ticket sales as well, isn't it? Saying that they can't sell a ticket before the fight tickets were announced to be on sale or something.
Yeah. And like, it's rotten out there. The media is rotten. The media is rotten now. The media is rotten. Like there was media out there. What they say about Nigel Benn, that he cheated against Gerald McClellan, that McClellan's trainer took the blood off the boot and tested it, and Nigel Benn had steroids. And I'm thinking, and people believed it. And then Frank Warren came out and said, no, it's not true. I've got the boots that Gerald McClellan wore in that fight. I have the boots. And like, you think it's just liars.
Is that where that allegation came from? I heard
Yeah.
about the allegation, but this is what I'm saying with the history. I didn't know that.
People are liars, man. They'll say anything, man. They'll say anything. And it's a badly run sport, because most other sports, like league structured, they have the press more contained and working in a more ethically, sound way that's conducive for the sport. Yeah, it's bad. What's up, Emma? Yeah, the media has no integrity. I agree.
Let's have a look at these. We can see, Emma goes on to say, we can see that Turkey doesn't know what he's doing. He's just shooting because he has a gun. That's from Emma. Eddie says, have we actually had any Riyadh season cards in 2026? And have we only had 3 cards? 3 ring cards? I don't know. You know what? I've stopped checking, to be fair.
We've had Joshua. I think that's the, was it Joshua?
Is that a ring card? Or is that a Riyadh card?
Riyadh
I don't
card,
know the difference.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is either. You know what I mean?
Malcolm Marcel jumps on. Bonjour, Malcolm. I think he's French. I like the way he comments on my videos because he shouts at me in French. The French are just like straight to the point. So shout out to Malcolm. Great discussion, guys. Iffy says last year they said they weren't going broke, and it seems as if there was truth into it. In hindsight, now allegedly, I think he's talking about Salah. 65 chap says, you're just the innocent party asking the questions, cleaning toilets, keep on asking. Listen, I got my brush and my bleach ready. I'm cool with that. MS agrees and says Dana is clueless too. If he says Hitchens ruined his career, it's a tough one, that is, because like I said, it was Eddie why I knew who Hitchens was, because of the way he promoted the hell out of him. Opataya as well as another example, devalued the Zuffa belt as soon as he won it. Because Opataya was really built up as well. A non-UK, is he New Zealand or Australia? Please forgive me. Okay,
Australian.
So another fighter that was built up from there. We know him from the Brady's fight, but Eddie really did a good job with him. I think the British promoters are fantastic. Emma says ultimately Turkey is nothing without the fighters. The promoters know that. Without matchroom fighters, it's over with. Arguably, you say the same thing about Queensbury. Boazzi said that because he knows he's not winning the belt. Leave my Joshua Boazzi alone.
Look, let me just say this, yeah, right?
Yeah.
When Eddie sees George Warren and Eddie Hearn working together, because Frank's getting old, right? He's going to be looking and saying, what have I done? He's going to be looking and saying, what have I done?
Yeah.
Because Dana, he's split between you. UFC is really unpopular right now, and WWE.
Is it?
They're trying to, yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I mean. They ain't got Francis Ngannou. I think that what Conor McGregor's fight lasted 20 seconds. Did they put that on pay-per-view or something?
Don't know. I didn't watch it. They probably did. I don't know.
It's not a great product no more. It's not the product it used to be. It's not the product it used to be. And listen, when British boxing is doing what it's doing uninterrupted, it's okay. It's not bad. I mean, they put on the first Usyk AJ fight at Wembley, didn't they? There was no problem. It was a good event.
True. Was it Wembley or Tottenham? Which one
Tottenham.
was it? Yeah.
Tottenham. It was Tottenham. I mean, AJ versus Klitschko. Did they need didn't need Saudis? Froch versus Groves. Didn't need them.
Yeah.
They were doing stadium events before they was around. Before they was around, we were doing big things. Can get back to that. Just got to wait for the market to settle. Get realistic, and then just you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It definitely does need to settle down. Let me go down these comments because there's so many. So thank you to everyone that's commenting. Thank you to everyone that's listening. Really appreciate this. I'm going to try and get through the comments as much as I can. So if I don't read some, I do apologize. Let's have a look. Ricky's a clown. What have I missed here? Yeah, Ra, I'm not even going to get into Saudi politics on here. I know that there's obviously different fractions that don't get on, as we have in, other countries. I ain't about to listen. I'll leave that comment there. If he says for certain fighters like Berlanga, they should definitely chase the money, but the elite fighters like Shakur and Hitchens ruin themselves going to Zuffa. So you're saying that they should have fought for the legacy belts, legacy money. Everyone's going to choose money. Life is full of materialistic things that often faced. They have that greed mindset. It's never enough. Your belly never full, as my mum used to say. If he says, yep, after that, it's clear Zuffa aren't playing nice anymore. They don't have to pretend, allegedly. TKO, and this is from Eddie, obviously sold Turkey on the benefits of cross-promo with WWE and UFC. It's a good point, to be fair. And the Netflix contact will be a big factor for him going all in on Zuffa. That's a very, very valid point that I've not picked up on.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because boxing's just not a popular sport. You don't have you need the fighters first. For you to make the market, you've got no heavyweights. What heavyweights have you got out there? Richard Torres got stretched out. Jared Anderson got stretched out. Your young heavyweights are stretched out. Wilder's on his last bags he wants to collect. You've got no heavyweights, right? Edgar Berlanga is a hype job. Richardson Hitchens is very competent, but he's not exciting. Shakur Stevenson, when's the last time Shakur scored a knockout? Listen, Johnny Fisher is a couple of fights away from someone half decent, putting him on the canvas and we push him to the side again, right? Where is it going? Like Conor Benn at 147? I'm not too sure.
We're going to find out.
Yeah. You fought what 160 last two fights? He looks a bit drawn. I'm hoping he wins, but he looks a bit drawn.
Yeah, we'll soon find out. 60. Oh, let's hold on. You man are done for. Dana knew Brock Lesnar was on steroids and put him on a card anyway. Almost killed Mark Hunt. Never wanted Dana in boxing. See, all of this I didn't know, and that was you man are done for that said it, not me. The comments are there. Hopefully, they're available in playback. 68 DG, good to see you as well. Cash Talks, if you already have the belts, going to Zuffa is okay, but you realize you are nothing to them. Just a number, right? Eddie goes on to say, plus Turkey has forgotten the point of sports washing, all the old laundromat. It's meant to be about generating goodwill, not pissing everyone off. Rick is a nobody, he's a lying clown, and he's a cancer in the sport. That's not my words. That's from Emma Wills, which I'm repeating.
He is. He's a parasite.
Parasite.
He's literally just a waste of space. A waste of space, making himself more relevant than what he actually is. You know what I mean? Waste of space. Don't like him. I'll just be honest. I'm not going to pretend I like the guy. I don't like the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No good for the sport. He's a liar. Tells too much lies.
So there's a few comments about him. You man are done for. Took the blood off the boot. CSI boxing. You man are done for. I never knew that's where the speculation came from. That's absolutely insane. Bigger figure. 666. Turkey knows exactly what he's doing. He had a strategy from the outset, and we are all seeing the mask slip.
Yep.
Shout out to you. Mickey Muller, big up to you as well. Like the stream people, show love to the creators you watch. It literally costs you nothing. And that is very true. But we're both happy to be here and to be engaging with the boxing fans, as Beats and I are both boxing fans. Beats is just a lot more up there when it comes to the intelligence around the sport. If he agrees, he says, yep, UFC is dying. The brands, the big stars, no longer there anymore. Aaron says, big up Abs and Beats. First time seeing Beats on cam. It won't be the last, Aaron. We've said this. I'm going to get him back. We're going to be doing regular things. We're going to get in a studio. We're going to do a podcast. Who knows? UFC is very unpopular. Yeah.
It is unpopular. It definitely
I
is.
think
Somebody in your comment section said the MAGA event. I mean, who would do a MAGA event with Trump? I mean, like, that's going to be divisive if you do that. I mean, anyway, I don't know.
The
Man.
UFC is run by accountants and a lawyer. The moment they secured the $7 billion Paramount deal, they have served up rubbish.
Yeah.
If he said Fisher even docked TKV.
He did.
Big up TKV, man. Need to see him back out. Heavy D, big up October and Beats. Was good to see Beats for a second. Looking good, big man. We love that. Good morning. I like this. Beats is a smart thinker, and that's why there's no one better to do something like this with than Beats. And where's all the British media supporting AJ and Eddie to get this on in the UK?
Indeed.
That's a very good question, George.
Well, I'll tell you where they are. They're taking money off Turkey.
Damn.
This is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. They're taking money off Turkey. Somebody said, like, but is Boxing King Media? They're British. They're British. They've got Rick Glazer on there. Blah 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 blah. And like when Rick Glazer said, "I'm not privy to whether the contract stated that the fight should take place in the UK." So hold on, Rick. You're supposed to be the so-called know-it-all. You know everything. You don't know where the fight was supposed to take place initially. You're a liar. You're a liar. And they didn't challenge him. Eddie came out and said Netflix agreed to the fight in the United Kingdom. Yeah. Netflix didn't come out and say, yo, that's defamation. No, they didn't say anything. He's telling the truth. Anthony Joshua just came out of the ring. Sorry, I'm just looking at my screen there. Something come up. Right? Anthony Joshua just came out of the ring against Prenga, and he said, yo, it was easy to negotiate. We could be Millennium or Tottenham, but Wembley just for the symbolism. And he said, it's a done deal. I didn't hear Fury say it was going to be in the US. It's a done deal. Frank Warren said Zuffa are not allowed to promote the fight. Zuffa can't promote no fight.
I remember. I think he did it on TalkSport. I remember both of them saying it. Eddie saying it. Frank Warren saying it. So I remember seeing all of that. And, you know, Eddie's one of these that isn't afraid to go up against everybody. He doesn't care. He'll do that. Remember with the Conor Ben and all the PED stuff, he was the one that stood there and took all the bullets. He was the one that was backing the geezer to the hilt. And then people were mocking him when Conor left and saying, oh, what do you expect him to do? He's got to make money. You show a little respect. That's what you do. If you're going to leave, all right, you leave because it's money, isn't it? You show a little bit of respect.
He should have phoned.
So he's somebody that isn't afraid to go up against everybody. He'll just stand there and be like, yeah, whatever.
But even his conscience is pricking him because he keeps saying he wants to have a sit down with Eddie. He knows. Money is great, but the people, the few people you meet in this journey in life who are with you for life is way more important. Yeah, because if I take sick right now, I know there's certain people I can phone and they've got me. And if same thing, I've got, and money is not.
It's not an object. It's nothing.
It's not in the equation, you know. So Conor knows, you know, like you got to keep an eye on Dana. You cut Vucinic after one fight, and it was a competitive fight that he was winning. Cut him out, and Radzovic goes on to fight Craig Richards, and Craig's not stupid. You know what I mean? Craig knows if you don't win, you don't perform.
Curtains. Yeah.
Burner, mate.
Yeah. Shout out to Craig Richards. Yeah, look, Heavy D says Beats, the hip hop chat last night was great. Stay on camera more, broski. Matten made a good point here as well. Turkey has 13% ownership of DAZN, and I believe it's around 60% of Zuffa. Heavy D says I look like brown Star Wars princess, more like brown Star Wars grandma, but thank you.
Big up Fight Fan Network. Big up Danny. Fight Fan Network. Big yourself.
Where is he? Am I still high up in the chat?
I think you could.
Oh
be.
yeah, shout out to Danny. Lots of love for Danny, man. Great guy, absolutely beautiful human. So big up to you as well. We like Danny.
If you listen
Yeah,
to Simon Jordan, sorry, October.
yeah.
Right?
Now go on.
If you listen to Simon Jordan, he's saying Eddie knows it's going to be in America. He's going to go. Like, why are you saying that when the contract states it's in the United Kingdom? See, they're taking money. Listen, they're getting paid off. And listen,
Why haven't I been offered any money, Beats? Why has nobody offered me any money?
Oh no, man. I mean, they don't offer
Nobody
me that
offering
either.
me shit.
Have you noticed the AdSense checks are going down as well?
You what?
AdSense on YouTube is going down. My AdSense has gone down a lot.
Oh, you know what? I don't even make a penny off here, so I can't even look. It'd be more expensive for me to look at it than not. But I know certain channels are being pushed and certain channels are being suppressed. But I did watch, and this was another person that's in another industry. Basically, they said there's a little bit of a war between the main media and the YouTube, because since YouTube came out, you can get information from all different sources. It's not the accredited top line media. So the top line media allegedly has started to said to YouTube, push our content first. So you'll more than likely get main channel content and ours will be suppressed. Allegedly. That's what's supposed to be going on. I'm inclined to agree with it.
Wow. Not good.
There's nowhere safe. We need an equivalent to YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't make money off YouTube. That's why I've had to cut down my input and do what I have to do. So yeah, it's not fun no more like that when they're doing stuff, prioritizing other channels over yours, and that channel might be pushing certain agendas and all that politics. It's not good. It's not good.
It does happen, but loads of people have jumped on my channel and says, I'm not getting notifications. Somebody said they thought I'd left boxing. They thought I'd like stop doing it. I said, people wish I'd walk out. They want me to walk out. They'd be happy if I walked out. And they said they have to manually search for my videos. And I was like, But then I asked, family members, that are subscribed as well. And they were like, yeah, your stuff's not coming up anymore. I'm not getting notifications. Why is that? If you got the bell and everything, why are you not getting notified? So yeah, there's something, as we say up this side, there's something a bit booky going on with the YouTube. Raymond says, Beats is the man. Well done, Abs, for getting on camera. Listen, like I said, not the first, won't be the last. It may be the first, but it won't be the last.
That's the only reason I'm on camera, is because I didn't want to leave October's stream.
No, but it's better, innit? Because I feel like I'm talking to someone. It's hard to talk to a picture because you just feel like you feel a bit schizophrenic. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking to nothing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a face. Heavy D says Simon Jordan is going to spin on this somehow. Emma says,
"Did you hear what Gareth Davis said? I know you're cool with Gareth.
You know what? I haven't spoken to him in a minute. Let's go on.
Eddie's trying to protect AJ.
But isn't that his job?
Yeah, that's the point.
Isn't that his job? Is his promoter? What do you expect?
But he's trying to say that they're avoiding the fight to protect him, which I don't think he's doing, though. That's the thing.
But there's an argument. There's a counter argument to if you're that way of thinking, to believe that could potentially be true, because obviously him getting knocked down in the first 20 seconds. So when there's something that can fit a narrative, then it becomes the truth, doesn't it? Because it all fits together.
Yeah.
It's like the old psychological games.
Apart from AJ saying that, post-fight Prenga, that the fight is to be staged in America, and he says that he doesn't know what the fuss is about. What is all the fuss? He said they've already went through the details, the contractual details, and it's all supposed to line up at Wembley. So what's all the fuss about? So they can't say AJ's trying to get out of the fight. They're trying to hold him.
He's not a ducker.
Yeah, and here's the thing, yeah. If you just let them change, just switch up the contract that they gave you, and then they're taking your fighters in breach of contracts, so they can just breach contracts when they want and just throw fights over here and take fighters who they want. No.
So what's the point of a contract then, if that's how easy it is?
Exactly. Yeah.
But We will see. Raymond says Beats is UK elite. Beats needs to be
Appreciate Raymond.
properly appreciated, and I agree. I 100% agree. If I was stuck, if I was in a quiz or in a degree exam about boxing, and it says, "Oh, you can phone a friend," I'm phoning Beats. I said, "Oh, what's the
Yeah.
answer to this?" And I guarantee you'll be able to give me that answer. Sometimes all of us get like dates and times mixed up because
Hopefully I
that's
don't mess up. Hopefully I don't lose your bag though.
oh my God, phone a friend. Who wants to be a millionaire? I'm phoning Beats. Right, Matt said, is it Matan 509? Eddie ran into Turkey when Hitchens said it was his last fight with Matchroom. Hopefully I'm going to be going to the Itama fight. I don't know yet. Beats, are you going? That's from Heavy D.
I'm thinking of, you know, I like watching boxing from my house though. I'll be honest.
I'll be honest with you. I've been to boxing fights, and Moses Itama is a fantastic fighter to watch live.
You know what my problem is?
He's very entertaining, Beats. I did not take my eyeballs. He's a very entertaining fighter. Very. He's good on the eye, live, there.
I can watch smaller shows live. Smaller shows I can watch live, but big card, I need to see everything. I need to be viewed on the screen.
Yeah, the corner. You can't hear the corners when you're in the audience.
Yeah, you know.
But,
And but I wouldn't mind going. I'd say that I wouldn't mind going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, our Fight Fan says yes. Beats. We're very realistic. Obviously, he's Spider's cousin, isn't he? He's Craig Richards' cousin. He said, hence we're making sure we're getting the W. There you go.
You got to get the W, Danny. You have to get the W because these people here, they're cutthroat, right? They're cutthroat. They'll lure you in. Oh yeah, Craig. You know what I mean? They're welcome aboard and this, that, and that. And it's
imagine
like,
who's Craig? Can you imagine?
Craig? Yeah.
Who was Gazbostic with first, though? Who was he with? Who was his promotional company? Do you know? Because I had him as a bit of a floater.
Like, he came from the small hall circuit. Then he fought that guy Bull. What's his name? Something Bull. And he beat Jake Bull. Remember, he upset Jake Bull on the Matchroom show. Then he fought Frank Buglioni. I know Craig's career. He fought Frank Buglioni and gave him a credible fight.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then that's how he made his name on Matchroom. You know what I mean?
Who, Craig?
Yeah. He upset Bull. I remember I was watching it. I said, "Who's this you here?" And then got beat up Jake Bull. And like Jake Bull was a big Matchroom prospect, and he upset the odds, knocked him out.
Wasn't Dillian White? It wasn't Dillian White the one that was putting the fighters on, because that's how Richard Riakporhe come through. It was Dillian White. Danny put it in the comments because Dillian White used to look after, like, he'd like get the South London man them on the card.
Pedro Jim man them, innit? The Pedro Jim.
So it was like Dillian. Dillian is another, like, and fair enough, I might be biased because I get on with Dillian really well, but he's another unsung person that will help out people when he can. Because he was putting their fighters on the card. Richard Riakporhe was on them cards because of Dillian.
Okay, well, Danny's saying Craig's been on Matchroom from his debut, but he was on the Next Gen shows. The first time I saw him, Danny, was against Jake Bull. That's the first time I saw him. Yeah.
Was that his debut?
That weren't his debut. I
didn't even know he was on Matchroom shows from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Let's have a look. Yep, the tweet, the algorithm, that's from Iffy. Same thing is happening to film review channels on YouTube. See, Heavy D says, I don't see October Reds pop up anymore. It's madness. This channel just came up on my algorithm. I'm in the US and it's 3 a.m.
I wonder why you're not.
Sabotage. I'm saying it how it is, man. Sabotage. Is this real?
I would hope not.
Let's have
Miguel's
a look.
gym. That's it. Fight fan, not Pedro's. Miguel's gym. Sorry. Appreciate it.
Yes, Miguel's, South London. Yeah, Kings has just said, just joined the chat. That's Beats live in the flesh. Rascals.
Everyone's shocked.
Yeah,
man.
Only
October got me out there.
I love it. Now I've got to do this again, man. Emma says Gad is a Fury shill. So it makes sense with what he's saying. We've all
Yeah,
known
he
that.
is.
Though.
He says he's not, but he is. He is. He is. I mean, he's keeping it real. I mean, and I don't dislike Gad. I don't dislike Gad, but he's a shill. He is a shill.
Right, let's have a look. 100% Fury is the safest and most paying opponent for AJ right now. But why is no one picking up the fact that Eddie and AJ haven't been paid for previous deals? Surely that's a concern. We've mentioned that earlier, George. I don't know when you came into the live, but that was one of the things that we started off. We played the clip from Eddie. So just for those of you that have just joined the chat, let me replay the clip so you can see how this discussion started.
Or out of the ordinary. But yes, we do expect payments to be met that are outstanding, not necessarily to Matchroom, but to Anthony Joshua. I don't want to comment too much more on that right now.
So we have covered that bit. So George, if you joined us later on, that was one of the things that we did start to discuss and potentially mention why it's a bit fractured in boxing at the moment. Heavy D says promoters are always trying to sell out Craig Richards, but the bad man rips up their scripts. We love that. We like that support. Malcolm says, didn't Turkey say the AJ Fury fight was for the British boxing fans? He may have done, Malcolm. He may have done. Of course, it should be in the UK. But like I said, when it comes to that fight now, it's like, yeah, whatever. I just want to see the young ones come through, the new heavyweights. Let's start making way for them. George is saying a builder doesn't do any more work for you if he hasn't been paid for work he's already completed. Again, British media don't have a brain cell and are pushing Turkey's agenda. Am I included in that lack of brain cells? Yep, no. Craig's been with Matchroom from his debut, and White used to have good undercards, 4 at 7-8. Yes, I haven't seen you for a minute, and he did. He had fantastic undercards. Shout out to Dillian White. Do you know what I mean? Remember Craig beat Alan Higgins for the Southern Area title on Sky Sports. I started at super middle. Alex says, no way beats is on camera. Much respect. Bon Scott, I haven't seen you for ages. Hi, Red. I've always thought Dillian is a good man, and I think he always cared for Joshua. Seemed to really care about him, although they did have rivalry. Yeah, he's that type of guy. You know, there is rivalry between them. I'm not going to sit here and say that there isn't. But say, for example, if something bad was happening to AJ, I know that Dillian would help. He'd probably cuss him off at the same time, but he'd help him. That's Dillian. That's what he's like. But he is very genuine. What he says is what he is. And me and him, both him and I have had really hard discussions about what he's going to be doing with his career. And I think the only reason why he actually listens to me because he knows I'm not afraid to tell him the truth. Heavy D said T Street had the same issue last year with a YouTube visibility. I think you have to flood the platform consistently for a month to reset the algorithm, but sometimes it's a silent ban or a strike. I'm not doing that. If I don't think there's anything to say, I'm not just going to say it for the sake of it. I get it, Heavy, but there's so much like BS.
They've tapped it. I think they've tapped it there October. If you're not doing a certain amount of content, you can get lost in the algorithm. So that's probably why I might have a more visible platform than you, because you need to be doing two, maybe so they say maybe at least 2 videos every 3 days or something like that. That's what I heard, or something like that.
Can't always work. Maton 509, you're in the US now, and you're saying that it's like 3 a.m. What is the hunger like for this fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? And I need the American input. I know I've asked for this before. You said I've just popped up in your algorithm. That's random. Can you please tell me, like, on a general consensus? I know I can't ask you to speak for all of, is it 50 states or 51 states in the US? But can you please tell me what's your general consensus, where you're from in the US, and what you think about that fight being hosted out in the US? So I'd like that. You got a prediction for the T.O. versus Rolly fight? I'd like Rolly to win, you know. I don't know if he will.
For some reason, I just want Rolly to beat up T.O.
He's just a funny geezer, isn't he?
I should be more neutral, but I just want Rolly to beat him. I don't think he's got the skills though, October. If I'm being an objective observer, no, I think he's going to get beaten up. Not beaten up, but he's going to lose on points. Teal's going to be too clever. Got to. The footwork is too good, and he's gonna.
But you got Ryan.
Yeah,
How did he do that?
Ryan not that good, man. If Conor can't beat Ryan,
Serious?
yeah, Ryan ain't that good, man. He ain't that good. Ryan not that good. He's not that good. He's not that good. October, I've got to get out of here, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we'll pause it. It can be a continuation. Like I said, I just like from Beats and I, obviously Beats, add anything you want, but I'm really grateful. This was impromptu. I literally messaged Beats, said, yo, what you saying? I need to speak to someone. I need my therapy. And he's the man for the job. So if there's any major channels watching that want somebody that can literally talk on boxing history, I'm going to say, please reach out to Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He knows what he's talking about. He's been around for years. I've always liked his stuff. Yes, maybe I am biased, but I'm saying it with evidence, with true reasoning that he's a great guy for boxing. And we need that.
Yeah, it's all good. I appreciate it, October. Keep doing your thing as well, man. Like, you know, just keep doing your thing. And,
hold on.
It's been good.
British boxing pundits are toilet from Park Lane N17.
Park Lane N17 from the ends. From the ends.
He's absolute crap take on Ryan. Oh, you got to relax. I like who?
He called me a waste man.
Look, everyone gets emotional. But that's what we like about the sport. It gets emotional. Right. But listen, until the next time,
he's a big Ryan fan.
Look, everyone's got to have fans. It's what makes the money go around. I'm sure Ryan cares a lot about Tommy G as well. I'm sure he thinks about him before he goes to sleep.
Ryan's about to send you a bunch of flowers, mate.
There you go. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, thanks for tuning in. We will catch up again soon. But until the next time, Beats, as we say at October Red, stay ready.
Right. Peace. All right. It's been good, man. Hey, listen.